Had my first bed bath. That was an event. I thought it'd be nice. Do you know what? I thought, because it's a simple kindness, isn't it? It's something I've never hated doing in a bed bath. It's something nice in someone's day. If you do it well, you may turn a 4 into Beyonce. You can do anything, you know what I mean? It's just a simple kindness. If you get the right nurse. I wanted me a dolphin. I wanted me a nice dolphin. I wanted someone who'd walk in, know what I was going through, like, morning. Oh, it's all right. We'll wait for you to finish your Cocoa Pops and your wine. We'll be back. That's what I thought I wanted. No, I don't know what I got. I mean, over the years, it doesn't always happen to everyone, and you have your good days and your bad days, but generally compassion can wane a little bit. Do you know what I mean? We start off with a lot of empathy and then it can fuck off over the years. Not for me, obviously. Do you know what I mean? I've still got loads of compassion. I'm full of it. Mine changed a little bit over the years. It started off where grads might identify with this, little dolphins. I used to cry every time somebody passed. That was my thing. I thought it was a sign of respect. I used to cry. And then that was getting on the other nurse's nerves. And then I went to just leaving it in the car. Right, I'll leave it in the car. And then I went to opening up the windows so souls could fly out. That was my next thing. Thank you. Can't do that anymore. They've glued the windows shut. Because people keep throwing themselves out before their souls are ready. Can't do it anymore. So now, 20 years in, this is what I do now. Only if I've got a real connection, not everybody. I've got to have chatted to a few times and enjoyed you. And particularly if you've got no one else. Now, this sounds weird now I'm saying it in public, but I'll trap them in like a Lucozade bottle. And... I just don't want them bouncing around the hospital forever. I don't know if that's how it works or not, but I'd rather not risk it. Just their souls. You can't put the bodies in the Lucozade bottles. Just souls. Just do that. Yeah. It's weird. I was saying earlier about how nursing shapes the parenting. I got a mate who's raising the right pussy. Yes, he's 40. He still pours his gravy. He comes to my house for neglect. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure it's to do with our jobs. She's a candle consultant. That's an actual job, sir. She helps people who are lost on their candle journeys pick the appropriate candle. I know. It's been an honour, but nursing, you kind of, you get... Anything from cradle to grave and in between, anything life should and shouldn't throw at you, we deal with it. She helps people who can't pick candles on their own. And you wouldn't believe it, it's quite a stressful job, it would seem. She finds it quite... She rang me and I was at the end of running 5 nights. She rang me in a state. It was before Christmas. She rang me in this right state and I was like, look, I'll be round in the morning, just finishing my 5 nights. She's very distressed. I get round there. Do you know what the trauma was? It was a week off Christmas and some of the Christmas orders weren't in yet. In Candle World, this is a category 1. I just want to go to bed. I'm problem solving. I'm like, let's just go Kmart, buy $7 ones and relabel them. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you're getting how many people can't buy candles. My mate has to run parties so that people can help each other buy candles. I go with her to the parties because I'm a mate. What amazes me most is that the people buying the candles, they'll have a 45-minute presentation on candles, and then they'll get a brochure about candles. And then at the end you go, does anyone have any questions? And people still have questions! I sometimes have questions, but because of wine. Do you know what I mean? So get her out, and this is her problem. She's got no candles. She's got no candles coming in for Christmas anyway. She just went, how was your night shift? I can't even begin to tell you. You've no idea, if you've not worked in it, you don't know the pace is all I can say of hospital. This is how a shift works. You walk in to a night shift in particular, you get a list of things you've got to do overnight, and then you add to that the list of shit that didn't get done in the day. And then you add to that the list of things that never got done since the hospital opened. But you're not an idiot. You know you've got 12 hours. You know you're not a superhuman. You prioritise. You think they can wait, they can't wait. Then, this is my favourite bit. This is what they do next. They give people buzzers. And their job is to stop you doing things on the list. And it just turns into the shittiest, bloodiest life or death beat test that you have ever seen. And that is the face of the hospital. So I'd had 5 nights, but I thrive off it. I chose it, I picked it, I love it, purpose worth, all of it, right? So I'd done 5 nights of that. Now, in the middle of that, I'd been given the unicorn of the night shift, which is my favourite, which is somebody who doesn't press the buzzer, but should. Yeah, you all know who I'm talking about. They're the gift that keeps on giving. So this is somebody... They're not trying to be naughty, they just genuinely don't know they're in hospital. And it's part of our job to keep them safe. Seems to be part of their job to smash every hip, right? So... But they don't press the buzzer because they don't know they're in hospital, but they will. Yeah, and they always get handed over as moribund or bedbound. And then at night time they turn into Darcy fucking Bustle, just pirouetting round the fucking unit. Where are the OTs and physios on night shift? It's when you need them. Yeah, mine was a very tall Polish gentleman, very tall, very old, still very muscular. So he'd got all the body, but his brain, just for a fortnight, had turned into porridge because of a urinary tract infection. And I never met him as a sane person, but he was when he wasn't, like, diseased. And he looked a little bit like the BFG. Right, just imagine that in your head, anyway. He's lolloping round the unit all night. And because he had a UTI, he'd taken to pissing on in bins in other people. That was his thing. Which everyone was over the moon about. In fact, he was sharing a room with a young guy, first hospital admission he'd had, 20-year-old getting a wrist pinned and plated. He came in for that. He went home with PTSD, I reckon. So 5 nights straight, I'm just keeping an eye on him. At some points, in the night, I'm linking arms with him, doing my jobs, walking around and stuff just to keep him busy and doing anything I can to make him piss in a toilet. I think by night 4, I'd learnt Polish. You know what I mean? Just in an effort, And I thought I had a glimmer of hope because I was just like, toilet. Do you know what it is? Polish for toilet is toileta. I can see where the problem occurred. The minute I said toileta, he was like, just walked in a toilet. For privacy, I just shut the door. And then I thought, he's been in there a bit, open up the door, he fucked off out the other side, hasn't he? Into the other. Pissing on people again. Anyway, so just... So I'd had this glorious unit, just trying to keep him safe for 5 nights. But I can't lie, by night 5 it was getting a bit wearing. But I wasn't going to quit. Anyway, we'd been trying to use a bottle with him and he wasn't quite for it. But this night he was sobering up a bit, from the infection. And sat him on the edge of the bed. Now, I poured him into a bottle. That's what you're doing with it in later years, so you're pouring it in rather than... I sat him on a bed and poured it into... And ran it up there with a couple of pillars round it. Now, young men in the audience will think that that's a horrific thing to do, but honestly, by about 80, your balls feel nothing. Use them now, take photographs of them now, keep them to yourself. So We've had a presentation once of a bloke that came in. So gorgeous. Oh, I love me oldies. Oh, they're so cute. And he'd come in and he'd had a shower with a plastic garden chair and the hot water had melted and sent them through the slats. I know. But you know what the beautiful thing about this is? It gives you hope for the future, men. It wasn't even him that noticed. He was not bothered. He came in the ambulance, still in the chair. Busy night, just had a blanket round him, just asking for cups of tea. That was it. You wouldn't have known from the top. You had to go underneath to work it out. This thing, he rammed it up there, and I'm not leaving him in the room on his own this time. I just turned round for a bit of privacy. Just turned round and then not a noise, so I thought I'd turn the tap on, see if that makes anything happen. Nothing. Turned back round and BFG beaming there with the bottle in his hand, holding it out to me. I was like, oh, you champ. Dobre. Yeah, you know. Anyway, I pop my gloves on and I get the bottle off him. You know, and you just think, I've done everything I can and it's worked. Anyway, I got the bottle. He had used the bottle, but to shit in! I have never had that happen before! There wasn't even a noise of him moving round. There was not even a noise. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how you can do it. I don't know. I'm just staying. Later on, when I get in a nursing home, I'm trying it. I'm just gonna... It's one of the first things I do when they book me in. I'm just like, give me a bottle. And, have you ever seen it? No, once. It's an amazing feat when you see it, man. Whole thing in there. I showed the nurse manager on the night shift. That's right, wouldn't you? You'd be like, look what I fed you. She was like, oh, just stick it in the autoclave and set it off again. No, that's going in the bin. No, we're not using that again. For those of you that haven't worked in the healthcare system, I heard the most brilliant conversation that totally sums up what they call compassion fatigue. Now, it's the difference between Beyonce and Judge Judy. They're both peddling the same message and doing good work, but they sound very different. I turned up on a surgical ward in the morning. The night shift was just ending, and I got the handover from... She'd been about 2 years into nursing at the time. Perfect. She looked amazing. She brushed her hair and her teeth to talk to me for handover. I don't think I put in that much effort on my wedding day. Do you know what I mean? She was flawless, and she was just so nice and so thorough. And she was like, in bed 7, we've got Trevor. And Trevor is a 42-year-old gentleman. He's got a history of anxiety and depression and a 2-year history of ulcerative colitis. Anyway, he came last night to ED with... bowel obstruction and perforation, and he went to theatre. He's come back with a stoma, and he's had a settled night, but I've read through his notes. His stoma was his biggest fear, and he doesn't know yet, but the surgeons are going to come round in the morning to tell him. So I'm like, perfect, yeah, good work. Anyway, I get pulled off that bit then, because the boss hasn't turned up, so now I'm boss for the shift, and I get the handover from Trish, who has been on nights since 1986. She has not brushed her teeth or her hair, not only for handover, but since 1986. She does nights because she doesn't do politics. Doesn't do politics or relatives or bosses or meetings or awake people. She does do a good line in fucking about in the stock cupboard and rearranging it so you can't find things in the morning. That's what she does for us, sir. We'll thank her for her service. Anyway, I'm getting handover off her, and then she goes, all right then, George, we got, in bed 7, we got Trevor. You'll know Trevor, softcock. Anyway, she goes, you'll never guess what, he came in last night and his bowel has finally burst. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, the surgeons have thrown it in the bin and they've moved his arsehole to his abdomen. should have done 2 years ago, right? Then, typical Trish, she just goes, well, he's never wanted a stoma, but he's got one now anyway, so he doesn't know about it yet, so we've kept him asleep with morphine overnight. And then like a little bow tie on the end of this perfect little rant she's doing, she just goes, surgeons have said they'll be round in the morning to tell him, but I'll give him my arsehole if we see them before tea time. She was right, it was tea time. She kept her arsehole. She's that kind of person.